This channel is supported by my online fishing courses, and you can learn more and get significant discounts at saltstrong.com/Skinner. I'll have links to all of the gear in the video description, and if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Alright, it took me about 90 minutes to get these, but I've got a bunch of mud crabs, and I got those along some oyster beds, and I flip over some stuff, and these guys are kind of embedded in there. And where I live, nobody ever has fiddler crabs for sale, and I don't live near sand beaches that are easy to get any sand fleas, and I've yet to see a fiddler crab running around. So, but anyway, I've got great bait. I am starting on the part of the dock where I did well on a previous trip, and I've got the same incoming current, and I'm plopping these casts right in there, and cast after cast here. Nobody's home, nothing's hitting. Water's a little bit warmer. The sheep's head fishing is certainly starting to decrease, but we had a little bit of a cold front. Water temp 67 degrees, not too bad, but not looking good. And it's frustrating because something I wanted to do on this trip is test scented fake crabs for the sheep's head. But hey, if they're not going to eat the real ones, testing them isn't going to make any sense. So what I have on there now is a jerkbait. I could see from where I was back a little farther that there's a big snook underneath the dock. And so I've put on 5-inch jerkbait, something that I've caught like tarpon, snook, redfish on, and gonna see if I can get this thing. You know what? That is not a snook. That's a drum. Yeah, so now that I've got a better look, it's not a snook, it's a drum. Drum love crabs, and I've got them. So I'm going to find a decent offering here, try to make a good cast. Trying to get a decent sized crab. Sometimes the bodies are, the legs get bitten off the bodies, not all of them. So doing this here, wetting the crabs, if I just keep them damp, I find that they're fine for the length of a trip. I don't want to leave the thing out in the sun, but as long as I do this and just wet them down, I don't have to worry about keeping them cool or anything, and then after that, I'll just keep them in the water. But okay, I have a nice crab body here. So these jigs, these are, because of the current, I'm using a 1/4 ounce. I often use 1/8 of an ounce. That's 1/8 of an ounce S&S John Skinner sheep's head jig. I had some things I wanted in a jig, and I'm affiliated with S&S Bucktails in New Jersey, and he made me up some beauties. All right, so what you saw me do there is just clip that crab, just get some juices flowing. This is a lot like black fishing. So let's see if I can get that drum. Well, that's not the drum I saw, but it's a sheep's head, and that's what I came here for. Boy, I made a bunch of casts on those back pilings with nothing, but all right, I'll take it. Hey, any fish I eat, I'm going to bleed. So this is how I do it. Bucket, some water in it, get a really good cut in the gills, make sure it's bleeding. Fish will die faster, it will bleed out. The quality of the meat will be so much better than if you don't do that. Okay, and that drum I saw was, that's a black drum, not a red drum or a redfish. And yeah, I got a real clear view of it when I stood up on the bow there. I don't see it now, but yeah, it's probably still in there. All right, another good one. I'll take it. when those fish bleed out, which takes a few minutes, then I'll put them on ice after that. Yeah, so I really want to try those the fake crab with the scent, but I also want to bring home some meat because redfish, trout, snook, all of that is closed in my county, like both winters I've been down here. So I'm looking for meat. I want to get a limit, and then I'll try experimenting. Yeah, so this is pretty instantaneous. It's kind of very surprising to me because it was so poor on those back pilings, but now you'll see, you know, I put a crab on, if I make a decent cast, within seconds, there's a fish there. And so I wait through those initial taps, and I want to feel that jig move because, you know, when you jig fish like this, that's a tiny, tiny weight, and they're just going to pick it up and go. So when you feel it move, boom, set the hook really hard. These have razor sharp hooks, so it's just going to take one good hook set, and yeah, this works really well. So I am going to get to test the scented crabs, and if anybody's doing well with those, I would love to see it in the comments, or actually anybody's experience trying to get these on scented artificials. Yeah, I'd love to hear about it. And I have heard about the cranker crabs, but I believe you have to order those from Australia, and they're like $13 a piece. Yeah, I'm hoping that there's some other artificial solution, but I'll try at the end of this trip. Hey, so what I'm going to do here is, it's kind of a larger crab. I'm going to trim the claws and the legs, and the reason I'll do that is, you know, I've got a fair amount of current here, so if you've got the crab legs and claws on there, it's definitely going to catch more current and be a little more drag. So I want to trim those off, and you know, it kind of seems like the hookups are better without those legs. They don't have something to grab onto except the body and the jig. Well, if I could have one size crab, this is it. These little tiny guys, they work very well. It seems like I never miss a hit with those. I'm not missing many hits to begin with, but just having done a couple of trips with these tiny little crabs are perfect bait. So I've had a wind shift, so the boat is, I'm using the trolling motor with the spot lock, so I didn't have to do anything, because what happened is the boat just kind of swung around on that anchor point, and it's left me in a great position because now I'm casting forehand, so it's a little bit easier to cast accurately. Okay, one more to go for a limit. You know how that is. That can often be the one that's going to take the longest. The limit is 8 fish at 12 inches. Come on out of there. Okay, that was easy. All right, with my limit packed away, it's time to experiment. I have 2 different brands. Both of them are gel or paste type. One flavor is crab, the other is a saltwater buffet, and you can see I am really slopping up this artificial crab, but it's a very realistic looking crab. This looks great. You know, the worst time to do a test like this is if they're not biting. Hey, these fish are biting. They're right there. All I need to do is put this thing in there, just like that, and if it's gonna work, it should work. And I'll give it a little twitch here and there. I figure, hey, it looks like a crab, moves like a crab. It, in theory, smells like a crab. It should get eaten. I spent at least 30 minutes doing this for one tap. That was it. I wish I had better results to report, but it just didn't work out. For whatever reason, they just didn't hit it. Please leave comments if you've had better success than I did with something, because hey, it would be great to just carry out some tubes of gel and some little fake things and not have to go flipping rocks and digging through oysters to get mud crabs or whatever else I need to do. But oh, didn't work out. All right, still trying to learn my way around with the new boat. You know, it's a lot of shallow water, little narrow channels like this. I mean, this is a good channel, but you know, when I look on the fish finder, it's like 2.6 feet. You know, it's yeah, it's just the nature of the place, and that's why shallow water boats do well. So, all right, thank you for watching, and if you like the video, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe and turn on notifications.